Okay, so welcome to the panel discussion on fashion commerce. What's next? Scaling up for consumer business. I'm Payal Gandhi Hoon, and I'm going to be moderating this discussion with some lovely ladies here. I have with me three feisty, young, independent women who not just appreciate fashion sensibility, but are also passionate about the business of fashion. I'd like to welcome Saudamini Mattu, CEO, Abujani Sandeep Khosla brand. Saudamini's had a stint in journalism and financial services. She's been she's be soon completing a decade of holding the reign of three-decade plus luxury brand that needs no introduction. So welcome, Saudamini.
Thanks,
And
Payal.
we have with us, welcome. And we have with us Ankita, who is a co founder, along with Gayatri, her sister, of an interesting brand that is called There, that celebrates denim like how. Now, Ankita has had the experience in both corporate as well as creative arenas. And if you haven't already recognized her, she's hit the star status with her appearance in the Netflix series Indian Matchmaking. So welcome on board, Ankita. And joining us on this panel is also Neha Jhunjhunwala, the founder of Studio 13, a design company catering to mid and high living. Neha has done her master's in design from Parsons School of Design, New York, and master's in brand and identity from London School of Communication. So, welcome, lovely ladies, on board, and let's get the ball rolling. Like someone said, and we've been discussing about our backdrops and the beautiful painting right there that Sudhamani has, that fashion really is an art. It's about conceptualizing, putting the brush to the canvas every day and creating a piece of art. And that's what you lovely ladies have done. Created your own brand. So I'm going to open this question to all of you. What's really been your brand story?
Thanks, Payal. I think for me, I'm a part of the Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla story. The brand's been around for 34 years. I've jumped in the last 10. And my role in this brand has actually was just to help take it to the next stage, which is what I feel like a lot of businesses, uh, especially legacy brands, which is where they get stuck. Creative people don't necessarily turn out to become good business people. So there comes a stage in life when you need someone to come and say, you know what, you do what you're good at, which is create, and let someone else manage the back end for you. So that is where I jump in Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla. The brand, as you know, is known for its couture, it's known for its fashion, it's known in the wedding wear, it's known in all festive wear. We've been around for 34 years. We've championed craft and tradition. The two men, or the two boys as they're called, are known for being revivalists. Whether it's Zardodi, whether it's chicken curry, whether it's gota work, we've sort of um, over the last 34 years, we keep reinventing it. We keep bringing it back to the front. And for us, India, it's craft, and the garment is the champion. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we are now doing. And we're trying to take that across many, many more avenues. We've launched three more brands within the house of Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla. All these brands basically fall in various levels and various stages of luxury. So we have
Right.
Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla at its highest peak, which is as couture and as bespoke and as wonderful as it gets. We have Asal, which is also luxurious, but caters to a larger, more younger, more fun audience. And now we've just recently, 2 years ago, launched a brand called Gulabo by Abu Sandeep, which caters to your day-to-day fun, easy, pick it up, wear it, enjoy it, kind of, and not just festive, it's day-to-day wear. I mean, I'm wearing Gulabo. This is a shirt that I can wear just, sitting around.
Fantastic. And I remember, Sudhamini, we were chatting up about Gulabo, and you did mention a certain segment of women that you are focusing on through that brand. So maybe you can tell us a little more about that.
Absolutely, pal. What we realized is that women have come a long way in the last 20, 30 years themselves. There used to be a time that you needed the average Indian woman needed either their husband or their father to come in and help them buy something big fat, and they waited for Diwali, or they needed an occasion where someone came and bought them a present. Today, all of us sitting here can buy our own things, and we can
Absolutely.
buy our own. We want to indulge ourselves. We don't necessarily need someone else to come and do that for us. And whether it's at the age of 25, whether 35, whether 45, whether 55, we're all independent. We're all and we know what we want. So when Abu and Sandeep spoke about wanting to cater to all these women across the board, that's how Gulabo
Hmm.
was also born, because we said that why should you only wait for a wedding to come to Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla to buy that one big fat ghagra? You know what?
Absolutely.
You feel like shopping today, you come and you see what you want, and we're there across the board. And
Absolutely.
that's how Bulabo was born. It's a fun, indulgent, still design centric, design heavy. It speaks the language of Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla, but it's not mammoth. It's not overwhelming. You literally come and you buy it, you wear it at home, you wear it out, you do what you want with it. It's
Yeah.
for the independent woman today who genuinely just knows what she wants. She wants her own style. She wants her own look. She wants to enjoy herself, and we're just trying to help that.
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic. And also making that luxury brand and affordable luxury for women across. I think that's what you're doing so beautifully well with Gulabo. And of course, it was topping the charts with Sarah Ali Khan spotting the look as well, isn't it?
Yeah, literally, she wears it from her car to
Yeah. I think
the
Saudamini's.
house, and then she also
Okay, I think so, Damini, we've kind of lost your last bit. Your video got froze, but we got the pulse of it. So I'll invite Ankita over to share about your brand.
Hi, Paya. Thank you so much. I think there is a culmination of the love I have for people in general. It gave me the opportunity. I saw this opportunity lying in front of me when I was working in the creative field after my stint in the financial corporate sector, where I realized that this is one sure short way of me that I'm going to be able to meet like plenty of new people all the time when they come and shop at the brand. And clothing as an industry is anyway so overpopulated. And I've grown up wearing denim so much, and so has my sister. So
Hmm.
when we thought about the USP that could be attached to a brand, because as a creative person, as a consultant, every brand would ask us what would our USP be, and everybody's USP is either a low price point or affordable or the fabric. We said, you know what? I think it's time that the fabric itself became a USP. So if
Hmm.
you see at there, the way we style, the way we shoot, the way we present, the kind of silhouettes we design, they're not just focused on your jeans or your shirts. You'll find like plenty of options in terms of dresses, skirts, shorts, boyfriend jackets, which give you that versatility in dressing. So you don't really have to wear a denim just for a Friday casual wear. And that was the whole idea of coming up with the brand there. And yeah, and having Gayatri as my partner, we've been able
Yeah.
to reach a stage right now where internationally we're so acclaimed. People love what we do. The
Hmm.
fabric that we use is so soft and so thin. They don't feel like they're wearing denim anymore. And the colors we've introduced in the last few collections, which are doing great for us again. So that's how that came up. It was the love that Gayatri and I both have for designing our own clothes at all times. When you walk into
Right.
a mall, you see a certain, and I'm going to take it to my. So when I would go to a Zara or a Forever, there were times when I could not find things of my size. And
Hmm.
that's where I felt that, you know what, wait, I can make my own clothes. So today, at So today at there, it gives me that kind of freedom, that flexibility. With this, we also offer our customers that a kind of opportunity where they shop with us and we take their measurements, and then we make sure that everything is sent up to their measurements so that they don't have to come back to us and say it didn't fit us, especially because we're only on the online space.
Yeah, I think
So
that was particularly very interesting when we were talking as well. And I connected with you, Ankita, that you said that you are actually in these COVID times also looking at the sensibility, the consumer sensibility, and taking care of not having so many contact points and ensuring that your products are not being returned, so that back and forth that's happening typically has been reduced. And I like the idea where you've gone one step forward and you've actually looked at it from a perspective of let's just put down the efficiency levels of and ensure that the good reaches in the way that the consumer is going to take it. Yeah. So
Absolutely. I mean,
that's
if you
brilliant.
see on the website, also we've mentioned we're a boutique brand. So we're not a boutique, but we're offering you services where you come and you place an order and you reach out to me on my WhatsApp, not even to
Hmm.
anybody else in the team because there's literally nobody else except for me and my sister. But you reach out directly on my WhatsApp and I talk to you and we figure your clothes out. That's it.
Wonderful. And I'm sure everybody is kind of longing to hear why is the brand named there? What's behind it?
There's actually nothing. There's actually a lot behind it because the initial name for the brand had to be No One, because there's nobody who's like you're an individual. So when you look at the word No One, you always
Hmm.
look at the word No One from a very negative perspective. But the other side, the flip side to the word No One is that it's exclusive. There's nobody like you. So the initial name was supposed to be No One, but somebody else had taken a trademark for it. And that's when there came up when someone told me your brand name doesn't need to have a story attached to it. It could just it could just be anything, and people need to relate to the story that you're trying to build. So
That's
today, so today a hashtag is you are there. So whatever you perceive of the brand is what the brand is to you. I don't want to give you a definition for it because we already live in a world where everybody and we're conditioned, everything is defined for us. So there needs to be a space where people come and say, hey, you know what? This is how this molds to my personality, my character, and I want to be here. That's the whole
fantastic.
idea behind it.
I love that piece. You create your own brand and your
Yeah,
own interpretation. And I like the fact what you said earlier as well. It's also a brand that's out there, transcending any boundaries and differences. Yeah. So on
right.
that note, I'd like to hand it over to Neha for Studio 13 because Neha, we had this lovely chat yesterday, and you were talking about this very interesting story and the emotion behind how you came up with Studio 13.
Thank you, Payal. So, Studio 13 was born out of my need to create and to fuel my creativity. I will always say that I'm an artist before I'm an entrepreneur. So I needed to channelize the kind of ideas, the creativity that I had in me into something which would let me create what I wanted to. So Studio 13 was born out of that need. At Studio 13, we started first as a branding firm. Then we moved on to concept invitations, where we tried to make wedding invitations more sustainable, usable. Then we moved on to tableware. We have a manufacturing unit close to Calcutta where we manufacture tableware, which gave me the freedom to design multiple times, to fail multiple times, if I may say so, because it was my own unit where I could
Right.
experiment so much. And Studio 13 is actually just a reflection of who I am. So, as Ankita said, we are the owners, the makers, we are the people you speak to when you message us, WhatsApp us. It's all just us. We're a very small army. We manage your dispatches. We make sure that you are happy, and that's what makes us most
How
happy.
lovely. I love the spirit behind it. And I think, like, what I'm sensing from this panel is it's all about understanding the consumer psyche and what makes them happy, and giving them that happiness and the experience that you have to offer that goes along. So it's not a product that you're selling, but it's really happiness and an expression of who they are essentially. So thank you so much. And I think my next question, because obviously this is a forum of Digital Women Awards, is directly linked to what is the kind of digital engagement and capability that you have tapped upon in terms of furthering your brand. So anybody would like to take that up. I'd love to know what is the digital capability. So let's say going online, putting out, using the e-commerce chain and cycle. So how is that working for you guys?
May I begin?
Yes, absolutely, Ankita.
Thank you. I think digitally we've been at an advantage where we also, when we started off, we wanted to go completely offline as well. But because we're bootstrapped, that opportunity, not opportunity, but that kind of didn't work out for us. And today, when I look at it, I think it was a blessing in disguise completely for us. Because there's one social media page and then there's one website. So the turnaround time for a consumer when they go on the social media page and see what they like over there to go to my website and purchase something from there, that gets reduced. So I automatically am able to convert, say, out of 10 people viewing a post, I'm able to convert those two on the website. And I think after Indian matchmaking, had I had an offline store only in these absolutely unprecedented times of lockdown, nobody from all over the world would have been able to have access to what we are producing and what we're manufacturing or designing. So just having an online store gave us so much international presence and kind of outreach where we've been able to build a market not just in India, but in America, in Europe, in South Africa, and Singapore. And these are customers who don't need me to send them performance marketing ads and lure them back to my store. But because they love the way we portray our story on social media, or they really enjoy the experience they have on the website per se, even though they don't have to feel the fabric anymore, they come back to us organically. So I guess digitally, the kind of imprint you leave in people's hearts and in people's mind, I think it kind of over exceeds having an offline store. I'm not against the idea of an offline store, but it's really, really worked for us in a manner where you go to our social media page, you see some video, you see some story, you see some post, and the next thing you know, they're logging onto your website and they're checking out from a cart, and hey, you're making money and you're making people happy. So I guess it works out pretty efficiently if you're looking at doing something digitally for a new brand.
Right. Thank you so much, Ankita. Yes, Saudamini, over to you.
I was saying, I think for us, Gulabo has been our first tryst with the online space. We launched the brand 2 years ago, but we actually went online 4 months ago in the middle of this unprecedented time. And we took our time to figure it out. We have. But now we see that, like Ankita is saying, that the more you engage with people, just like her, I think social commerce today is a massive portion of how we do things around here. We also talk to them. It doesn't matter whether you come from Abu Sandip. It doesn't matter whether you're coming, you're being seen on Instagram. People want to communicate. They want to know. And that's something that we also chose to say that, you're still belonging to a house where service is very important. So like she's saying that we still get people, they take that last mile changing in inquiring to a transaction is because they actually start talking to us. Where 2-3 of us who then get on the phone with them, we explain to them why, what looks like what we think would look better on them, and like Ankita said, that you complete the transaction. But in this mad digital world where everything is accessible and you don't want to actually have to walk into a store, there is still something about human interaction which finally helps you finish that transaction or finish that experience. And I think that maybe is a bit of a differentiator. I think it would happen to me if I just saw something, I went, but at some point, if I had no human interaction, maybe I just stop that process, get distracted by something else and move away. But I think when you capture that person, when you start talking to them in whichever form now, whether it's text or WhatsApp, you have them. And I think in this mad digital world, we're still all looking to touch and feel and interact. I mean, it's an oxymoron, I suppose, of sorts, that even though life has become easier, you still don't want to lose human touch. Even in terms of our campaign for social media, finally, if we changed it around. We again, when times were bad, we got a bunch of people from our office and said, you know what, you are the women that we're talking about. So our social media campaign is just all women who work at Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla, various ages, shapes, sizes, forms, wearing the same kurta actually, and we just plastered it all over Instagram and said, because these are the women of Gulabo, these are our women, and this is what we stand for. So there's someone who works with us for like 30 years out of 34 years. She and her daughter are the poster child for Gulabo by Abu Sandeep, because they are. We design thinking of them, and that's what we're trying to communicate through social media. And that actually did much better than a lot of these just perfect model shots, I must tell you. We got a lot more feedback with someone who is 50 plus wearing the garment than honestly someone who's the perfect 24, 36, 24. So I think it is about communicating
Absolutely
through the digital medium of saying that we're all in the same place. And we're all in the same boat, honestly. We just want to feel good and look good, and that's it. It's as simple as that.
That's an interesting take, and I think the world of fashion is quite constantly transforming in that sense, because now we're not looking at, like you absolutely mentioned very well, Saudamini, it's not really about a stereotypical way of looking at fashion, but making it real, making it accessible, and that's the sensibility that most consumers want. And of course, you do have a challenge, as both of you, Ankit and Saudamini, mentioned, in terms of the interface with the customers online, because obviously to hold their attention takes a lot more as compared to when you're in a brick and mortar setup. Yeah. Over to you, Neha. I'd love to know from a concept of perspective of digital, and how is it spanning out for the living space?
Thank you, Payal. So I've never really had an offline store. For me, my start of my journey has been digital, and it's been so for 7 years now. And strangely, this entire pandemic has worked in my favor, I would say, because there were so many people who were on their phones so much more, who were consuming so much content. They actually, I felt they were listening to what I had to say, or they were engaging with the story that was behind the products that I created. And digital, it makes you feel that comfort when you interact with the person who's made the product. At least I felt so, that you kind of create a digital family of your own, where you know that when you post something, for example, the vintage garden collection, I knew would appeal to a certain set of people on my social media, where you kind of get their sensibilities interacting with them over a period of time. So you build this beautiful community. These customers, clients, whatever you call them, they ultimately become this entire knit, and the web keeps on increasing. So it's been like this for me from the start, and it's been beautiful even more now during this pandemic, when everybody is in it together. So you feel that bond where you want to make them happy and cater to what they need. So when you say that, okay, I love this, but do you think this would go with my set at home? And then they send you pictures of their set at home, and you kind of guide them beautifully through that entire process. So digital
Wonderful.
has always been my way of work from the very beginning.
Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting and insightful perspective, Neha, because what you're saying is, and I like the other side of it, which is it's non-intrusive. Digital
Yes.
is at your own will and volition, non-intrusive, gives you your time and space. You're pretty much deciding as a consumer how far do you want to go, how often and frequently do you want to access. I mean, research shows that on an average, and I think that's a very low number. If you even look at the four ladies in the house right now, the research shows that about there is only once, at least once in a week, that people go online to get some fashion inspiration. I would rather say once every 2 hours. So I quite love the
And we'll be surviving if this is once a week. I promise you that.
exactly. And I said, my God, where is this research really stemming from? Because I mean, that's an interesting take also in terms of fashion inspiration. We are more open as, or your consumers are more open to exploring the length and breadth and the spectrum of different brands. And that's pretty much indicative in the panel that we have right now. So you have very strong emerging brands, and a brand which is absolutely associated with luxury, and is out there. So it's really a gamut and a spectrum that we're talking about right now. And that's where the consumers are taking it in. Now, interestingly, I think I'd like to add here that Forbes Business actually came up with a statistic saying that Indian luxury business is going to look at increasing to the tune of almost $85 billion by 2021. But unfortunately for us, COVID hit. But what I like is the resilience with which you all ladies are actually tapping and realigning your digital capabilities to also meet these COVID times. So anything that anybody'd like to add? Of course, you said that, for instance, Abu Jani and Sandeep Khosla, you've actually moved online. You're looking at different branding segments that's happening for you. Ankita says she's also come up with moving from brick and mortar to now more online interactions. Neha is saying, well, that's been her space all along. Anything else that you've done differently in the digital space in response to COVID?
Uh, we've made our delivery pattern very, very stringent, where we were shipping out almost every day, one order, two orders per se. We've made a very, very strong rule within the organization, and we've communicated the same to our customers as well, that we will ship out orders every once a week, so that the contact is minimum with the person coming up to pick up the product, and that person is not coming up every day to our warehouse to pick up everything and deliver to the consumer. And of course, like I said earlier, the entire customization process, where we proactively are encouraging you to please reach out to us and tell us what your measurements are, so we may alter it to your size within the same cost, absolutely. And you will not have a problem with the product at all. And touch wood, I think we've seen that. I think in 50 orders going out, we have one return coming to us. That's it. And that is the rate we're functioning at right now. And I give all of this credit to my partner. Basically, what I do is I take my phone, I take all the measurements, and I give it to her. And I'm like, hey, this is your department. Why don't you go ahead and talk to the master and get this all done? So yeah, I think also having a great team works wonders. Like works wonders. So this is how we are trying to kind of streamline the process so that the delivery person's not exposed, we aren't exposed. We make sure the products are sanitized daily on a regular basis. They're not kept in the warehouse for too long. So small measures right now, also because we're a small company. So yes, that's what we are doing right now.
Thanks, Ankita. And I think that's really to do with being a brand of conscience.
Yeah.
COVID has brought out the best in us, where we're thinking and we've started shifting from just revenue generation to focusing on what our consumers want at the end of the day. So, on the note of brands of conscience, I'd love to know any of the initiatives that any of your brands has taken in terms of, championing the cause of taking the Indian art and craft ahead, or it could be sustainability, that your brand really associates with and has a vision with. So I'll probably ask Neha to take this on, and then the rest of us can go. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Payal. In terms of sustainability, we use recycled packaging for all our local deliveries for our tableware and home products that we manufacture. And where the weddings are concerned, we recently did a wedding invitation which was on a pitchway painting theme, where the person who you gift the invite to or send the invitation to, you're actually gifting a painting. So the invitation was designed in a way that you could piece it together into a frame which you could actually frame into a painting. And I put my number at the back of the card saying, if you do want to get a frame, do contact me. And I was amazed at the number of people who called me, because I just wanted to know if people actually would go ahead and do this. Sometimes, it's a great concept, but people don't engage with it. So it becomes futile. But it was amazing to see the response where people actually gave that invitation a space in their homes. And, it becomes a beautiful recollection of somebody's marriage as well. So that was one aspect that we looked at in terms of invites to make it sustainable and usable.
Yeah, I think that's really creative. And like you rightly said, and aptly, it's like a memory that you're serving, because I'm sure a lot of women out here and a lot of people out here can relate with, you get these fancy invites or you get these fancy dabbas or whatever during the festivities, and you really don't know what to do with it. You're kind of throwing it, but here you are, you're creating that memory and also saving it and savoring it. So wonderful. And Saudamini, I'd love to know from you in terms of Abu Dhani and Sandeep Khosla, how are you promoting the Indian art craft, Indian art and craft?
So, Payal, like the brands always champion the craft. In the sense that we've always been about the fact that India has so much to offer in terms of craft. So whether it's from surface embroidery, whether it's from weaving, whether it's from a sari made in South India, whether it's a fabric printing in Kutch, there is so much to offer, but unfortunately, India for the last few years has been typecasted as the back end of various luxury houses abroad. But no one's ever sat back and said that we have this is ours. We've championed this, and why does somebody else come and take the credit? So, as far as we're concerned, we've always put India in front. We've always said that it's the craft, the craftsman that is the winner for us. We have almost over 400 craftsmen, karigars that actually work for us. We have 80 women who do kitchen sarees for us. And I know that we're one of the only few people who still only use women for kitchen. Because kitchen saree was originally actually only a women's skill. It was something that women taught their, generation after generation to actually keep the girls in the house busy. Um, so we have 80 women there who we have multiple karigars in Gujarat who do work for us in Tharad, Kutch for Ajrak printing. So we at any given point don't, we're not letting go of that. If anything, even during this last 7 months, we did all that we could to actually keep all our karigars intact. We've paid them, we've kept them. Work, no work, it didn't matter because at the end of the day, the Karigar is not even given that sort of status in our country, even though they're the backbone of all of it. I mean, we all keep championing Karigar. No one has a face to a Karigar. So we very seriously take this as a cause for ourselves that we don't let our people go. We have people who've been working with us for 30 odd years as well. I mean, we have their children now working for us because the garment, the craft is never cheated. We've never compromised on that. And that's something that as a brand, we don't want to do. So we may be experimenting with things like Gulabo, but we've not gone to a computer yet. We've just changed the silhouette, we've changed the design. In fact, the challenge to make something so simple is tougher for us because I think we've gotten so used to always having the Zardozis and the Gotas at our service to just make something beautiful that now to dumb it down is like okay, now how do we only do this much? So that's actually it's a problem backwards. But we don't want to cheat that yet. We're not there, and I don't think we'll ever be there. I mean, I think our story has always been about India and its craft. And if anything, we're trying to add. I mean, we keep going to Lucknow telling women that it's not something that you have to do when you're at home and doing nothing. This is something that you can earn with. And we had a glut in the middle where women disappeared because suddenly they felt it was better to do a job in a corporate. And then suddenly they discovered that no, they earn a good amount of money just doing this and they keep the craft alive. And it's something that they do themselves. They are proud to say that maine ye banaya hai, and they don't necessarily get that excitement when they're sitting in an office and being told to get coffee and tea. And so we do our bit. We try to, keep the craft alive.
I think that's really insightful and so reassuring because it's a dying art right now. And to revive it, to keep championing it is something that the fashion industry and, of course, the design industry can work towards. Incidentally, today I've taken out my great granny's dupatta, which is 80 years old, and it's gleaming and shining as ever. Just for this occasion and as an ode to this panel. And on that note, I think let's get to some really exciting, snappy part, which the ladies were quite resisting initially. I'd like to know from you guys, before I get you rolling with a rapid round, in the interest of time, I'd love to know on your experiential note, what is that one piece of advice that you'd like to give to aspiring people getting into fashion commerce? So let's start with Ankita.
Thank you, Payal. I thought a lot. I thought a lot about this for the last 2-3 days. And I think that one piece of advice that's really worked for me personally, that I keep telling myself all the time, is don't be afraid to fail. Because if you don't fail, you won't know what's going to work for you. You won't be able to appreciate the success that comes your way. I think failure has its own beautiful way of keeping you grounded at all times. And I failed all my life. Like, I've really failed all my life. And had I not failed in all of those years in school or in college or at various jobs, I don't think I would be sitting over here and talking to you and sharing my experience with you. And I'm able to appreciate this way more because I understand the hard work that goes into understanding what parts of my failure made me this successful today. That's it.
How wonderful and humbling that is. Ankita, so proud of you and wish you success on that one. So, Saudamini, over to you.
I think, what Ankita said, absolutely, that you can't be scared for something to go wrong. You can't be scared to experiment. But I think also at the crux of it is that you have to be authentic and you have to stand for what you believe in.
Beautiful.
Don't get swayed. Don't run just because you have to. If you believe in something, you believe in your, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a pair of jeans, like Ankita is saying, you have to believe in it. And when you believe in it, honestly, the person on the other side will believe in it. But be authentic. Don't cut, copy paste. Don't, just because it's working for someone else, it may not work for you. Have the patience, have the resilience, and it will come through. But own what you do and don't be shy of it.
Beautiful. So be authentic. Don't be afraid of failures. And over to you, Neha. What's your take on this?
Uh, So, somebody who wants to be in the sector in a creative field, be it fashion, be it home, be it any other creative space, you already know that you're creative. So, you already know that you bring your own flavor to the table. So, my advice would be that no matter how much you're tempted to, don't try to imitate someone or imitate a brand that you're in awe of. It happened to me when I started out, and you consciously unconsciously try to imbibe and imitate what somebody else has already done or established. So don't do that. There's audience, and there's plenty of audience for you as well when you bring your own magic to the table. If you've chosen this field, you have it in you.
Wonderful. So you bring your own creativity, your authenticity, and with all your failures, the idea is to be grounded and to go along being yourself and expressing yourself. Now for the rapid round, ladies, be ready. Much against your wishes, but I'd love to hear it from you, and we can just take turns on that one. My first question is, what is your favorite fashion brand, of course, apart from yourself, and why? So who'd like to take a plunge?
Silence.
Yes. Okay,
I
Neha,
think
let's you rolling.
I would not fashion, but I would say in the home and lifestyle sector, I would say Good Earth, because I see how there is so much soul in the products that they make. There's a story behind how it's done. You actually see Mrs. Anita Pal's personality seep in through the Raat Ki Rani collection, or be it Pushpanjali, or any of the collections that they make. So it's beautiful how truthful they are to themselves. They don't venture out of what they are truly.
Thank you. Over to you, Saudamini.
I think there's a brand called Fox, which I love internationally. And in India, there's a lovely brand called Lovebirds, whose clothes are just divine. And I have lived in them since my pregnancy, now post my pregnancy, and I don't think I'm ever letting them go. But they do lovely clothes, and they have a lovely sense of style. Again, they stand. You can tell a Lovebirds from a different angle. It's lovely, and at the same time, it seems like me. So hats off to Lovebirds.
Wonderful. Love birds it is. Okay, so I'm going to look that one up. Ankita, over to you.
I think of late it's really going to be a sportswear brand.
Mhm.
I've really been shopping from Puma a lot for my gym wear, for my tracks, all of that. But if I go back a little in time, I think it's going to be Sarojini Nagar Market. I think that is where all of us have gone and gotten our fashion inspirations from the beginning of time. Like as a child, I remember going to those markets and just picking up everything that was there. It was export surplus. So you knew what was coming in the market tomorrow.
Yep,
So
yep. That's a
it has to
wise
be
one.
Sarojini Nagar. It has to be that.
Okay, so I'm going to flip the question on to you, Ankita. So, what's one fashion faux pas that you think absolutely a mistake that one shouldn't do?
Who am I to say? If you like it, you wear it.
Super.
You're
Okay.
mixing. That's it.
So, Damini.
I think you should just know your body. And
Ah,
again, know your body, see what looks good on you, and that should be it. You don't have to wear something because somebody twice your size or half your size is wearing it. You don't have to wear. Wear what looks good on you and what you're comfortable with. Don't I mean that's the only time I feel like some people don't, they're trying to look like someone else. But just look like yourself, you're beautiful. Don't look like someone else.
and I think, like, I'm tempted to say here, it should be like something, fashion should be like fitting into a dress, but the dress fitting you. And
Exactly.
that's the big difference that we need to make in our thinking and the way we look at fashion. Over to you, Neha.
Well, there's no real right and wrong or disaster for a home and lifestyle space. It's your own space that you create. So, where is the right and wrong in that? It's what you
Absolutely.
like and you make.
And I think living spaces, quite like fashion, is an expression of who you are anyway. So it's not about really going out and getting inspiration from here and there, but it's really about what you feel and what you want to express. Now, the final question, because that's what the panel is about, which is fashion commerce, what's next? So, ladies, over to you. Take your, who would like to go first?
Ankita can go first. Ankita's been good at going first.
So you can.
That's why I was giving it to you guys. I was like, guys, please go for it.
Ankita's champion. Please come on, Ankita.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
So,
encouragement, much needed right now. Thank you, Saudamini. I think it's going to be all about loungewear. I think fashion commerce is moving towards comfort wear massively right now. I'm talking from my own experience when we were designing the new collection during lockdown. The only thing we were thinking of is what would I want to wear if I'm not going to work, but I still want to feel great. So we came up with an entire line that's really, really loose and comfortable to wear, but you still feel great, like I do right now.
super.
So I guess that's why fashion commerce is moving. They're moving more towards a sector where they want to be able to invest in a great piece, willing to pay a little more for it, so that they can hold on to it for a little while longer, rather than go into the whole fast fashion space where you're spending money left, right, and center. So with there also, we're trying to break that barrier completely, where you invest in a dress for 5,000. Don't come back to me for 6, 7 months. Utilize that money and your dress properly, and then come back to me. That's it.
Alrighty. Okay, Neha, over to you.
When you ask me what's next for me, I really never know what's next because people in creative fields, you kind of pick up cues on trends, on things that you observe around you. So, what's next for me? I'm ready to flow in any direction I am kind of taken to. So,
Okay.
what's next is
And I
always a
and I
question mark.
remember I'm quite tempted to add that because you said bringing the outside in is your new collection. During the
Yes.
lockdown, Neha has designed her new theme, which is really bringing nature inside the house. So that's beautiful. I would urge everybody to look it up. And so, Damini, you've got the final word there.
I think with the online strategy, I think it's just how you engage with the audience today, which is where you need the innovation. There is product, of course, and product is king, but today the engagement strategy with people, now whether it's a Gulab or even all the way up to Abujani Sangeet, it's not what it used to be. Uh, I think people need to see value, whether they're spending 5,000, 50,000, or 5 lakhs, and it's how you communicate that back to the audience and let that audience, and in our case mostly women, find their niche in that whole spectrum. And
Right,
it's I think engagement, and creating engagement is going to be something that we all need to concentrate on. At least we do.
right.
Sure.
Lovely.
That's where we're spending our time now.
So thank you so much, lovely ladies here. I think this has been a stimulating chat, and getting to know what you do so wonderfully well. The way I look at it is fashion is a way to elevate your soul, express your individuality, and also it is the armor to survive the reality of this world. And who else but you make this possible? So, more luck, more power to you. And on that note, a big round of applause for all of us who are doing so well. And thank you once again. All righty.
Thank you, Patel,
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
bringing us together.